don't do this. Okay, today we are going to lay our hands on Figma. The last time you guys learned how to do redesign landing page, you guys did a task, you guys did all and all, create a case study. So today we are going to lay our hands on Figma, creating a fintech app, mobile application. So let's just call our project e-money. Let's say e-money mobile application. So we're going to use of mobile application frame. So we're going to use iPhone 13 Pro. So we're going to rename and call this our splash screen. So when creating our splash screen, we don't need our layout grid. We just leave it like that. Or you can also use it to create your layout grid. So we're going to create our layout grid. So I taught you guys 3 weeks, 4 weeks ago how to create your layout grid. If you missed the class, you can go back to the YouTube channel and check for it. So when using a mobile, we use 6 for the mobile, and we use margin of 25 to 30, depending how you want it to be. So we are going to use 25, and our gutter, this default count for our gutter is always 20. So you're also going to use 20 like that. So we're going to create our text, our grid style. So we're going to click on this and create it. Then we'll say this is grid for mobile. So we've created our grid style. This is it. Now let's create our colors, our text, and everything we need. So this is the color. So you click on shape to R for the rectangle. So we're going to make this white. So we need another one too for our color. We're going to use this. Okay, let's use this. So we have 4 colors. This. So we're going to create our color style. So we have this. You click on the plus, you click on this, click on plus icon. Then let's say black for text. Then we have this. So we have the whites. So we have this, which is the primary color we'll be using. So you can call this primary color. And you can also call this a secondary color. So let's use the color so that everybody can actually see what you're doing. So this is better, right? So everybody can see my screen clear enough. So now this is our splash screen. So let's create our text style before we start our design. So we have this. So let's say this. We're going to use interfonts for this our design. So let's say this is 18. So let's call this, let's say body text. So this has been created. So we need another one. So we're going to remove it and make this 24. Make this mode and call it title. So now let's create our splash screen. So along the way, while designing, we'll be creating our text style. So let's create our first screen, which is the splash screen. So I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to use this, then I'm going to drag this in. I'm going to make this white. And I'm going to change this. So this, let's say, call it money. So I'm going to use another font for this. So let's just make this. We're trying to create a logo for it. So we're going to make this. Let's see if we can use one font. So if we can use this. Let's try this. Yeah, this is better. So let's just make this. Let's make this to be this. So let's place it at the center and make it bigger. So let's say this is our font. So we're going to duplicate the screen. So we're going to copy this sign up. You can either change the name from here by double clicking, or you come here and double click and change it to sign up. So you take this away, then you just go back and select your color. Okay, let's say this, select our primary color. We'll go back here to select our white. So we'll be using white for it. Then I want to create my first onboarding screen. Sorry, let's create our onboarding screen before we create the sign up page. So let's say onboarding screen, then click on R. So I'm going to be using my secondary color for it. I'm going to click this. So now let's go hold on and create our button. So I'll be creating my button using auto layout. So let's say I'll be using this. So I have to duplicate, and I'm going to call this my button. So I'm going to add auto layout to it. Then I'll go to my auto layout setting and place it at the center. The alignment at the center, so that whenever I drag this, the text will always be placed at the center. So I'm going to give it a fill color of our primary color. I'm going to change this to white. So let's make this a little bit thicker. So I'm going to use this for our button text. So I'm going to give it a corner radius of 6, and I'm going to give it drop shadow. I'm going to reduce the opacity for it. Let's use 10 to it, and let's say, okay, 4 is okay, and let's use 6 for it. So this is it. So now I'm going to use that as a component. So I'm going to right click and create as components. So I'm going to duplicate it again if I need a secondary, or you can come to this place, or you can just come here and get it. So we're going to change this to, we're going to give it a stroke. So click on the plus sign. We're going to make this 2. We're going to use the primary color. We're going to remove the fill color. I'm going to use white for it. I'm going to change the text inside to the primary color. So now we have 2 types of buttons, the primary button and the secondary button. Now I want to create my first onboarding screen. This is what I have. I'm going to lock it if I don't want it to move around, and I can also adjust it the way I want. So I'm going to lock it. So this is it. I'm going to take my first button. I'm going to turn on my layout grid. So I have some illustration I've downloaded. So when getting illustrations, either you look for illustration on story sets, free pics, and from Figma community. So I got this one from free pics. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to add it here. Okay, this is okay. And I'm going to place it at the center. So this is it. And now I need my notification. So you can go to Figma community and search for Signal, or let's look for Signal. Let's look for notification. Oh, sorry. Okay, status bar. Okay. Okay, let's see which one we can use. Can you all hear me?
From this end, yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
Oh, okay. So I'm trying to
Yes,
get.
I can.
Oh, okay. I'm trying to get our status bar from Figma community. So let's see if we can use this. Let's see if we can use this. So let's take this and copy. Go back to our design and paste it. Yeah, this is what we have. So we're going to place it in our design. Okay, this is not giving me my real color. I don't know if I can change the color. Yeah, I can change the color. So I'm going to change it to my own color. Now, perfect. This is it. So I'm going to place it in my design and centralize it and move it to the top. So I'm going to expand it to fit in my screen size. So this is what I have. Now, I think this is looking big, so I'm going to kind of reduce it and then place it at the center. And this is what I have. So I'm going to turn off my grid system to see what I've done. Okay, and since this rectangle is looking big, So I'm going to unlock it. And I'm going to reduce it. And I'm going to place this to the top. Now I'm going to lock it because I don't want it to be moving around. So I'm going to lock it. And I'm going to centralize this. And I'm going to turn on my grid system. So I'm going to change this. Remember, when designing for a button, so the height we normally use is between 45 to 60. So don't forget that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to now check the size of my button. So it's 42. I'm going to draw it and make it, let's use 50. So the height is always going to be 50. Then this also, I'm going to make it 50. So this is also going to be 50. Now this is perfect. So whatever changes I made on this component, it reflects on the other one. So I'm going to make it 50. Let's delete it. So I'm going to delete this button and I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to place it here. So I'm going to draw it to this place. And I'm going to change this to sorry, can you all hear me?
Yes, you can hear.
Yes,
All
ma'am.
right. So I'm going to create a wallet. So now I'm going to take this guy here and I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to change this so I don't have a wallet. So I'm going to say sign. Sorry, I already have a wallet. Oh, I have a wallet. Login. I'm going to centralize it. And I'm going to make this. So I'm going to make it medium. And I'm going to change it to 20. And I'm going to change the color to our primary color. So this is what I have. And I'm going to centralize it. Okay, so the next thing is I'm going to create our slider. You know, onboarding screen tells us how many information does the app going to display for us. So I'm going to create our slider. So it's either you create using dots or it's either you create using a rectangle. So for this, I'm going to use the rectangle to create. So I'm going to create a tiny one like this. So we're going to give it a corner radius of 2. Yeah, okay, let's say 3. And I'm going to make it 30. I'm going to reduce the height to 5. Okay, let's see what's done. Let's give it 40. Let's see. Oh, 40 is too much, so let's make it 35. So this is what we have. Let's make it 30 and make it into, divide it and duplicate it into 3. So this is what we have. So we're going to make it auto layouts, and let's say 3 is okay, or let's say 4. Okay, 4 is too much. Let's use 3. So 3 is okay. So I'm going to place it at the center. So I'm going to increase this. So I'm going to turn it on and we're going to put this the center and it is. Let's see. So now we're going to fill in our text now. So we're going to say private So we're going to use our dummy text now to fill in the remaining for the body text. So we're going to go to our Figma plugin and select this and generate. Or you can use, there's another plugin too. So we have this one too, content tree. So you can click on this. So we wait for it to come up. So we have this next, we have next, and starts. So let's say we need for body text. So we're going to click on this, duplicate it. Then we're going to say for this. So this is, then you can turn it off. Then bring it together and move it inside the Figma. If it's too much, so we don't need it. So we just need the first sentence. So we're going to take this off and we're going to centralize it to the center. So move it to the center. We can also make this to be light. I think it's looking thick, so we can reduce it. So let's say we need this. So we're going to make it light and you're going to make this 16. So you can also create this too as your text too, text style. So you can just say body text. You can say body text. So we're going to make this the first one and use our primary color for it. So if I'm too fast, you can draw my attention. So now we have our first onboarding screen. So this is what we have. So you can click on display to preview what you've done, to check your alignment, to check whatever is missing outside your frame. So let's see what we've done so far. Okay, now this is what we've done. So we're not missing anything. Let's see our splash screen. Okay, this is it. So this is what we've done. So now let's go back to our design. My system don't make sense.
I think it's a bug. You need to like restart the the file.
Except there's no way to restart since it is like the desktop app. You have to cancel it and
You have to cancel it.
Yeah. Long process.
Use autosave. It's like a new bug. I don't know. After the update started this thing.
Is it just me or we can't see our screen again?
Good evening, everyone. I'm not hearing our person again.
Okay, sorry about that. I was trying to switch back to the Chrome. I don't know. I think the desktop app is having issues. I don't know if it's from their own end or it's from our own end.
That's what it has been since the updates. You don't have to like close the file and open it again. That's what I'm telling you.
Wow. Okay,
It's a new
so
bug.
let's continue. Let's go back to the Chrome. So let's continue. So we don't need to preview till we are done with our design. Wow. Okay, now, so we're going to work on the next screen. I think I have to take this down. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to move this. I'm going to place it in. I'm going to place it aligned to the center. And I'm going to move this to the primary color. So I'm going to change the text. So I'm going to duplicate this again. So I'm going to change this. So I'm going to delete this. I'm going to use this. So I'm going to take this guy in. So I'm going to centralize it. So I'm going to delete this as well, or I'm going to change it to I'm going to centralize it. So you can either place this at the bottom or at the top. So let's just place it at the bottom. I think bottom is okay because of good UX. So I'm going to align this here, and I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to click on this. So I'm going to arrange them. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to centralize them together. Everything together. So I'm going to check. Okay. This, and this. So I'm going to stream. So same thing for this, and this. So the next thing I'm going to work on is the sign up screen. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to move this to this. So the next thing is the sign up screen. So I'm going to change this to sign up. Can you all hear me? So I'm going to create the sign up screen. I'm going to delete this and I'm going to move this. I'm going to delete this. Taking off this, I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to take these two out. I'm going to click on this and I'm going to take this out. So I'm going to unlock it and move it outside. So I'm going to change this color back to our whites. So I'll go back here and change it to our whites. So this is it. This is what I have. So now I want to create the sign up. So I'm going to turn on my layouts grid and so we have sign up. So we have the input field. So I'm going to still use my 50 for it. I'm going to use corner radius of 5. So I'm going to leave the stroke off. I'm going to use our color for it. So I'm going to turn off this. So I'm going to use 2 for it. So I'm going to say, where's my body text for it? So I'm going to duplicate. So we can actually use C4 and then use 1 for it. So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to duplicate this. I'm going to say email. So I'm going to say phone number. So I'm going to say create a wallet for this, and I'm going to bring back right up. So I'm going to place it here. I'm going to check its system. So I'm going to we're going to duplicate it. Make sure everything is aligned. So we're going to say residential address, for instance. Okay. Okay, let's go back straight to our sign-in. So these are the few information we need, for instance. So let's go to our sign-in. So we're going to change this to sign in or log in. Any word is okay for you. So we're going to change this to sign in. So what we just need is the email address. So this, let's add our password here and create password. So instead of residential address, because we don't need to come to your house. So let's say password, create password. And confirm password. Okay, so let's put a little text under it. So let's duplicate this and unlock this, make it 14 and lights. And let's say must be 8 characters. So let's make it 12. It's too big, so we're going to make it 12. Perfect. So also duplicate this and add it here. Sorry. So you're going to check the alignment. There's no space between this. So you make sure that everything is together. There's no space. So this is it. So we're going to go to our plugin and look for eye icon. So we're going to drag it in. I'm going to turn it off. So we're going to reduce this. So we're going to duplicate and reduce the stroke. So the stroke is 2, so we're going to use 1 for it. Sorry, it will not be too thick for it. Sorry. So we're going to make it this way. So we're going to use the color we use for our stroke. And to zoom in, make it this way. So just duplicate and make it this way. And make sure that everything is aligned very well. So let's move this way, maybe to 20. And same thing for this too. So this is correct. So just what we'll have to do is we need only 2 information. So they don't have to sign in with their email address. So they have to sign up manually. So what we're going to do here is we don't need this guy. So what we just need is password. So you can also just duplicate this to make it easier for you. You can just duplicate this. And remember, before you start designing, make sure you look for somewhere to get your inspiration from, either from Dribble, from Behance, from Google, wherever you want to get your inspiration from. You don't start designing like that. You must get your inspiration from somewhere. But I'm trying to teach you guys how to design. You get, many of you are designing like beginners. So I'm teaching you guys how to design. So the next thing we're going to do now is we're going to say, I have a wallet. You're going to change the text for this and say, I have a wallet. Or you can say login. You can say login. And here you say, I don't have. Sorry about that. I don't have a wallet. Then this text is going to be sign up or create wallet or create. Let's use the word create. Let's use the word create. So this is what we have. We're going to centralize them and centralize this too. So the next thing we're going to do now, we're going to design the home screen. So which is the master of your design. This is where you want to make your UX to be very perfect, not just the UI. So I don't need this. I don't need this. I don't need this. So I'm going to change this to home screen. Oh, I don't know why this thing is showing me double on my screen. Okay, sorry guys. I don't know what happened. I think it's a bad network. Okay, can you all see my screen now? Can you all hear me? Hello?
Yes, can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I don't know what happened. I think it's the poor network. It's actually raining somewhere. Yeah. Okay, now let's continue our home screen. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create our avatar here. So we're going to use Eclipse. So we're going to reduce, let's use 50 for it. So we can also make it this way. So now let's continue. So this is our avatar. So we're going to go back to our text and we're going to take this. So we're going to actually make this thicker. So let's make this semi-bold and let's create it. So we can actually delete this. So we can actually delete this text and make it bolder. So what we're going to do, we're going to make this and make it bold. So we're going to create it as our text. So it to look, to draw attention. So let's say title text. So what you're going to do is you're going to click here, and you're going to set it as title text and click it. So it will draw attention that yes, this is actually standing as a title for it. So you're going to click and edit this. So this is okay. So you're going to remember to centralize it. Okay, so we're going to make this and say, so let me use my name. So this is it. I'm going to use my name. So I'm going to duplicate this, the body text, and I'm going to put it this way. And I'll say, good evening. Because I opened the app in the evening. So I'm going to make it an auto layout. So I'm going to give it space of, let's say 3, 4 is okay. So yeah, I'm going to make it, okay, this is perfect. So I'm going to centralize it horizontally. So the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to create my card. So I'm going to use a rectangle and create my card for it. So I'm going to give a corner radius of 8. And I'm going to use our primary color. If I'm too fast, please draw my attention. If you're not getting anything, please ask your question. Okay, so I'm going to say, make this the height of 160. Let's try 160 and see how it goes. Okay, now this is what I have. So I can just play around this, my card. I can just play around this, my card. I'm going to say, so let me add a little drop shadow on it, small drop shadow. So I'm going to reduce the opacity to 15. Then I'm going to make this, the blur to be 8. And I'm going to reduce this to be 10 if I want it to be so. So this is okay. Okay, now So I'm going to play around it. So I'm going to get, let's call this our card now. So, or you can go to Figma community and look for card and add it here. Then change the color from the whatever color you got from the Figma community to your own primary color. But I'm just going to play around my own card. So I'm going to use the primary color. I'm going to go to my lock iconify to get a card logo. So let's use Visa. So I'm going to use Visa. Let's go with this. So I'm going to drag it to my Figma file and I'm going to delete this. So I'm going to change the color to my white. So this is what I have. I'm going to drag it in and I'm going to draw it. So I'm going to place it this place and I'm going to play around with the shape inside. So let's say I'm going to edit the shape, edit object. So let me just play around inside. So I just want to edit. So let's just see if done. And then we can now expand it. So you can just play around inside instead of making it plain. So we're going to reduce opacity to 5 or let's use 10. Sorry, to just be a little bit lighter. So you can just duplicate it, Ctrl D and add it to this place. Edit here. You can now group them together and you can now lock it. You can now reduce the opacity if you wish to. If you wish to reduce it, it's choice. So let's go with 6. So now this is what we have. And the next thing we're going to do, we need our amount on it. So let's say let's say 200,000. Let's use many figure. Let's say 198.80.53 kobo. So now you go to Google and search for your Naira sign. So you can just copy the Naira sign here, copy and go back to your Figma. Instead of using the icon, I prefer using the text. It's easier for me to do whatever I want to do because it gives my design fitting, unlike using the icon. Icon, you start editing, start changing, start adjusting the icon to fit into your text, and then you start grouping. But I prefer using the text itself. So the next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to duplicate this and put it as total price. So I'm going to drag it to the top and I'm going to use my white color for it and I'm going to reduce it to this. Let's say I need this, yes. So I'm going to say total amount. So we can now align it and then make it auto layout. And this is okay for it. Okay, our text is looking too big, so I'm going to change it. So I'm going to use this for it, and I'm going to reduce this. So I'm going to change it and use 12 for it. So this is what I have. Are you guys with me? So I'm going to take this off. Are you guys with me? Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drag my logo. So I'm going to look for my logo. I think I locked the screen. I'm going to open it and I'm going to duplicate my logo. So I'm going to take it here and I'm going to reduce it. Let's see, I'm going to reduce it. So I'm going to change this to, let's say 30, and I'm going to move it to the top. So we just have a simple card for it. So I'm going to align vertically and I'm going to group all together, for instance. So I'm going to duplicate this. So I'm going to rename it as card. So I'm going to duplicate it and then push it inside. And you rename it to card 2. Then I'm going to change the color to a darker color. So I'm going to click on it and change it to a darker color. Maybe you can just select a darker color for it. So to look as if it's another card you have on it. So the next thing I'm going to do is, now I'm going to create a slider to tell you that, okay, I have 2, 3, or 4 cards on it. So I'm going to duplicate this and move it to this place. And I'm going to move it here. And I can duplicate this as well and bring it in this way if you want to, but if you don't, you can take it off and you can move this guy to the first one. So the next thing I'm going to design now. So I'm going to design how much are they making, how much is he or she spending, how much am I making from the, or let's say send, just let's say send deposit at all. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create something. I'm going to use this for it. Let's say this, I have this. So I'm going to make it 50, 50. So I'm going to duplicate, let's give it a corner radius of 7. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm going to duplicate this for it. And then I'm going to look for the bigger text for this. I'm going to duplicate it and I'll bring it in here. And I'll say so let's say how much income have we made? Let's say 36,960 kobo. You can take off the kobo if you wish to. Let's take off the kobo. Then let's say let's duplicate this and move it this place and change the color to the dark color to our black. And let's call this spending. How much you spent while using this app, while using the Fintech app. So let's call this spending, and you can duplicate this and move it this way. But make sure that your text is not outside your layout grid. So let's make it this way, and let's take this guy this place. We can also reduce this. You think it's looking big, we can make it 40. So this is what we have. So what you're going to do is you're going to move these guys here. You can create this as auto layout and make these two as auto layout. So you can reduce this guy and you can make it 3. Let's make it 3. 3 is perfect for it. And let's make this. So we're going to check the spacing between this and this. So this is 20. I'm going to check between this and this. So I'm going to make it 20. If 20 is too much, we'll make it 15. So taking this guy to make it 15. Okay, let's see 10. I think 10 is perfect. We don't want it to have too much space. So 10 is perfect. So we're going to align it horizontally. So it's not aligned. So we're going to select all and move it a little bit up. So the next thing we have, we're going to look for, we're going to change this. Now let's use this as our secondary color for income. Okay, I'm going to change this to income. So this is how much you spend, and this is how much you gain. Let's make this, let's say 123,000 naira, 850, 126,850 naira. So this is how much income we've made. This is how much. So now we're going to change this. We're going to make this for our spending, and let's reduce this a little bit. So you can play around with the color. So you can move it this way. Or let's use this way. I think this is perfect. Okay, now let's use this for our spending and use this for our income. So now we're going to go to our iconify and select arrow for it. Let's use arrow. Let's go with this. Yeah, let's go with this. We're going to turn it the way you want, or you can select a longer one for it. But I think I prefer using that one because it's easier for me to use the way I want. So I'm going to drag to my Figma and I'm going to take this off and I'm going to move this. Yeah, okay, I don't like this because of the little shape, so it's going off, and I'll have to select another one. Let's go with this. Yeah, let's see. Okay, perfect. Now, so I'm going with this. So we have this. So then what we are going to do is going to see if we can actually do this to 1. Yeah. So we're going to use arrow facing up for the spending. So you can click and just rotate on it, or you can change it from here. So I'm going to use 180 degrees for it now. Straight is straight. So I'm going to move it here. So I'm going to add it, make it 1.5 because 1 is actually looking very slim. So now this is it. I'm going to drag it a little bit. Okay. Let's see if we can drag it together with the frame, or we can take it outside the frame and delete the frame. So let's see this, if we can actually use it this way or this. No, this is perfect. So we're going to align it to the center. So let's see. Oh, this is what we have. So we're going to make it our primary color for it. And we're going to reduce this a little bit. So you can make it 80 opacity, or you can make it 70. So let's make it 70 and pick the original color for it. So we're going to take the same arrow and move it to this and make it to face that. So you're going to rotate it the same way and give it 0 for it. So you move it to the center and then check the spacing. Let's see. This is it. So this is what we have for spending and income. You can actually make this darker to make the color look eye-catchy or draw attention. You can make it this way. I think this is perfect. So you can now create it either auto layout or group it. I prefer using auto layout, so it makes my work easier. So, but the only disadvantage between this, making this auto layout, is when you want to ungroup it. For instance, you know, just have it in mind that your rectangle, you're going to lose your rectangle. So make sure you've arranged everything before ungrouping them. So the next thing we have is this. So I'm going to click on this and make it auto layouts. Yeah. So the next thing I'm going to do now is create this part. So I'm going to duplicate this. Okay, now let's use this because it's going to be a little text for it. And I'll move it to this. And I'm going to use our black for it. So we can say see all. So let's make this transaction. So you can add, instead of making this pure white, let's see what we've done so far. Okay, we can actually add a little color of our secondary color to make it have a little background instead of making it pure white. So you can make it this way and move it to the bottom. So if you want to know how to use shortcut of Figma, just go to help and resources. So you will learn how to use shortcuts in Figma. So let's use our secondary color and see how it looks like. Okay, I think we're going to use our secondary color for this. So I'm changing this to our secondary color. I'm going to reduce it. So let's see. Okay. So let's see if we can actually play around with our home screen. Remember, whatever changes you made while trying to add color, add your text, remember to add it to your text style, color style, or whatever you're using to. Make sure you add it as a color style so that whenever you're doing your case study, it will help you a lot. Like, remember, I added another color to it now, this color. So I'm just add it as my color style and give it a background color for it. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to work on this for the transaction section. So I'm going to turn on my grid system for it. See, this text is too big. So let's say that transactions. So I'm going to use the text. Okay, this is perfect. So I'm going to align horizontal. So I'm going to click on this and add. So let's use 50 for it. Let's say 50. I'm going to, or let's say 60. So I'm going to give corner radius of 7. So let's see everything was spent. So I'm going to change this to our secondary color. I'm going to make it, okay, let's see if we can select this. I have this, yes. Okay, so I'm going to say, this is okay. All right. Okay, now let's call this. So I'm going to duplicate this. And I'll say I spent on Apple products buying iPhone 13 Pro Max. Let's say an Apple store. I got something from Apple Store. And I have iPhone 13 Pro Max. Okay, let's say iPhone 13 Pro. So I'm going to reduce this to this, or I'm going to make it 12. Remember, I did not add this for my style guide. So, but when creating, you have to create your own and add it there. So it will make your text easy, not changing this like this. So let's make it this way and let's make it auto layout. So this is what we have, and you can actually decrease this if you want to make it this way. So let's look for Apple logo. I see this. So let's go with this. This is Apple logo. Let's use for this for instance. I'll move with this, and you can actually duplicate this, and you can decrease this. So you can make this to our color white. No, let's make this to our black. Okay, let's pick this particular black. Okay, let's make this white first and make this to this color. So this is what we have. You can now delete this. So you cannot align to the center. Just double click and click on this and this. You're good to go. Then you can now lay out it. Yeah. So this was actually looking big. So we're going to reduce it. So I'm going to click on this. And I'm going to, okay, let's, sorry about this. So I'm going to reduce this first of all. I'm going to reduce this as well. I'm going to use 18 for it. So I'm going to align to the center. So let's group it for now and move this and go with this. So what we got from Apple Store is, I just duplicate and move this. So what we got from Apple Store, I reduce this to 16 and make it semi-bold. So what we got from Apple Store is 560 from Apple Store. So what you're going to do again, we got, so you're going to duplicate. First of all, you're going to align all of them horizontal. So this is what we have. So you're going to duplicate it again. And you're going to say, okay, the next thing we got something from, let's say, what story do we have? What story do we have? Let's see if I have Jumia, or let's go to Nigerian logo and just search for something there. Let's see if we have got something from Jumia, we got something from this and that. So let's say so let's say Jumia. Let's say Jumia. Let's say some of us that did subscription for Roku TV. Okay, now this is what we have. So I think this is okay for now. So let's move this and let's see if we can group this not to get scattered and this not to get scattered as well. So this is what we have. So we're going to reduce it. So you can also click on this if you want to scale it. I think this is easier. So we're going to ungroup this. We're going to delete this. We're going to use this. So let's make this our secondary color. So we're going to move this inside. We're going to reduce it as well a little bit and align to the center. Then take it out from scale to move. So this is what we have. You can now group it. So you duplicate this as well and move it outside the home. Move it in. So this is what we have. You can also make this white. You can also make this white if you wish to, but the white is not going to show. So what we have to do is you either use F7, which is almost like white for it. So same thing for this. So whatever color you use, remember to always create your stagger. Stagger comes after your design. So let's say Konga shop. So when you're creating your case study, let's say Konga shop, we got wedding, let's say wedding shoe, wedding heel or shoe. Okay, let's make something popular. Let's say smartwatch or smart television, TV. This is television set. So the next, let's say we spend 300, 6,000 naira. So the next one you're going to use, so you're going to click on this and go to your scale and scale the icon the way you want, or you use your shifts and drag it the way you want. So this is what we have. So I'm going to scale it more to fit in to my shape. I'm going to move it out. I'm going to move it to this. So I'm going to move it small. So I'm going to see what we've done so far. Let's see what we've done so far. So I'm going to group it and I'm going to duplicate this as well. I'm going to move it down. And I'm going to say premium subscription. Or premium plan. Let's say premium plan. And I'm going to say Iroko TV. So here you're going to say Conga store. So what we did is plan, which is actually 6,000 naira. So I'm going to move this out from. So everything is going to be inside. So the next thing we're going to do is to create. Let's see what we've done, and let's see if we are having anything missing outside the frame. So nothing is missing outside the frame. So the next thing we're going to create is the last store. Let's just duplicate this, for instance, and just bring it down. So let's see, we have 18. We have 18. So you can take this off. We don't need this. So this is what we have. Let's say, for instance, so now what the next thing we're going to do, we're going to create our bottom nav bar. You can say your nav bar, you can see the bottom nav bar. So what we're going to do, we're going to create our nav bar. So what see the way I normally create my nav bar. So what I normally do is I get a frame for it. I place it, then I give it a drop shadow. So this is going to be -4. So that it's going to show at the top. I don't know if you understand what I'm doing here. So I'm going to reduce the opacity. Let me make it, I don't like using 000. So I prefer using any other number apart from 000. So I'm going to make my blur to be 10. So I'm going to reduce the opacity to 10 too. So this is what I have. So I'm going to give it a corner radius. So I'm going to give it a corner radius of, let's say, okay, let's leave it for now first. Then let's go to home. So let's just use this icon. So let's go to home. Okay. So we have, this is our home. Our home is tasked. If you watch, you see that our home has been downloaded. So the next thing I need is, let's see if we can get this from here. So let's use for profile. We need this. Let's say profile. We need this. So the next thing I need card. So I need card. So let's see, type card first. First scrolling. Okay, don't have it. Let's see wallet. Okay, we have wallet. Let's use wallet. And the next one is looking for status bar. So I think what we're looking for, we don't have it here. So we just move this here and move this here. So now let's look for the last one. Then before we create our, so let's see signal. Okay, this is what I'm looking for. So we can call it statistics, since we don't have time to create the icon. So where is it? Okay, this is it here. So I'm going to move it here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look for a smaller font, which is this. I'm going to duplicate it and I'm going to add it inside. I'm going to give it my layout grid for it. So I'm going to call this home. So I'm going to move this I'm going to reduce it. So let's use 24 for it. So I'm going to give it a thick color for it. Can give it a thick color for it. You cannot, but I prefer making it this way. It's easier for me. So you can make it auto layout, is your choice. I enjoy using auto layouts. I'm good at it. So I can now change everything to my primary color because I am on the home screen. So this is what I have. So the next thing I'm going to do is this one. Okay, let's make it this guy and make it 24. It's actually looking small. So let's see if we can. Okay, there's no way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase it. Or I can take it out because it's actually making it to look big. So I can take this out and I can make it this way. Making it look big. You can look for smaller. Let's leave hold on for this and create this. So we're using 24. So we're going to make this 24. So I'm going to make this 24. I'm going to make this 24 as well. So I have this here. So I'm going to duplicate this. I say call this wallets. I can call this profile. Let's say we have 9. So I'm going to click on this and make it 9. So to be aligned. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to align this vertical. I'm going to duplicate this circle. Sorry about that. So I'm going to place it here and I'm going to make it our primary color. So maybe you want to add something to it. So now let's get our 2 icon. So let's go with, let's see if we can get something better. I think this is okay for it. So let's look for our plus sign. So we're going with this. So I'm going to reduce this. You can use your scale. So you can place it here at the center and make it white. So you can now either auto layout it or group it. So it's your choice. Any question? Do you have any question? So guys, so this is what we have now. So you can duplicate this. I'll call it statistics. When you want to see the statistics page. All right. So you can make it the black color for it. Then you can now select it and make it auto layout. So what you're going to do is you're going to select all for it and align horizontal. I think I need to reduce this. It's actually looking big. I can use a black color, or I can reduce the opacity for it. It's actually looking too dark. So this is what we have. You can now move it, yeah, and align it. So now let's see what we've done so far. So this is what we've done. So you can now actually do the prototype for it. So do you have any question to ask before we call this a day? Guys, do you have any question to ask before you call it a day? So you can practice on your own. Oh, thank you, Lolo. Sorry for spelling your names. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. So guys, do you have any question to ask before we call it a day? So you can practice on your own to create a very simple fintech app. So sorry, I didn't put image here. You can just go to Figma community and get an avatar, or you go to Unsplash and fill it using the plugin, or go through the website. I prefer using the plugin. It's easier for me. So you can just add, where is Unsplash? So you can just look for avatar and fill it up. Let's see if we can use avatar for it. Or can go to Figma community and create an avatar for it. So guys, do you have any question before we call it a day? Okay, I think I saw something. Did I just say style guide comes before your design? Not the style guide for your case study that comes before the design. So what I meant is, once you are creating your case study, right, which is the beginning of your research down to the case study you're going to publish on your portfolio, you have a style guide where you input all the colors you use, all the text you use, including the size of the fonts you use, all your components, whatever stuff you use. That is what comes after your design, you get? But this simple style guide that comes right here comes before your design. This is just a very text style, color style, grid style. But your style guide comes after your design when you are creating your US case study, which is the size of all the fonts you use, the colors, the components, whatever you use or your design. So that one comes after your design when you are creating your case study. That is what I meant. You understand? Do you have any other question? Yeah, I can share you the Figma link, but you have only access to view, not to edit. I can share the Figma link for you. So guys, this is where we're going to end the class. Any more questions?
Hello, please, can I? Hello.
Yeah.
The grid style, you said you use 6 for, and you said 6 or 8. I just want to be sure.
On what screen? On what screen? The home page.
Yes. Like the grid style.
Okay. Yeah, I use the count. The count is I use colon. Yes, the count is 6. While the other one is 25. I use 25.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm going to share the Figma link for you on Slack. So you only have access to view, not to edit. So get whatever you want to get. Okay, so we're going to call this a day. Any other question before we call it a day? No question? Okay, all right, we're going to call this a day. Thank you, guys, and please practice. So we have our class tomorrow with Ms. Boma by 5 o'clock. So she's going to teach you guys and give you guys tasks as well. So please keep practicing. If you need the Figma link, I have it. I can give it to you. All right, thank you very much, guys. Please keep practicing.